Welcome back to Let's Play Sunless Skies Sovereign Edition. We're on the quest for the Martyr-King Cup, and we're here in the Reach at Carillon. Last episode, we tried to convince an ape that you can't really fix a soul once it's dead. And it didn't like hearing that. It attacked us. This episode, we're gonna try to hit up all the horrors and wonders for the experience, and just to see what they're about. We've gone through pretty much all of the ports and most of their stories. We might hit up Holmir's again, but basically we want to check out all the spots that we missed thus far. In terms of possession collecting, we're okay. We could be better. We don't have any experiments, and that's worrying me. We could also have more otherworldly artifacts. We're okay with visions of heaven and sky stories. Gossip and permits are also okay. We could use some more tales of terror, so let's see, what do they sell? Only supplies. Supplies is okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll go down south, check out Old Tom's Well, and then we'll head up to the Appointing Gardens. Hit up Leadbeater, and then head back to New Winchester. Tale of Terror, or a sky story. We are nearing the vortex. I don't want to fight you. I'll land. Yes, I will. Is there anything to do here? Enter the Kirk. Enact the right of wrongs? Increases iron at the cost of hearts and mirrors. Well, we need that, so we will be leaving. Explore the beehive hovels. Is that it? That's really it. Alright, we gotta dip because I don't want the terror. What the hell? And we are here at Tickler's Haunt. Spooky. More terror. Great. We love it. Woo! Look at all this honey. That's a huge tree below us. That's just one solid piece of wood. Freaky. There's the level up. Oh, okay. Alright, there better be a mirror's facet. Oh man, that's like the one thing I really don't like about the new facet level up UI. Oh wait, what am I talking about? This right here. What am I talking about? A coterie, along with some dear friends and acquaintances. Well, actually no. Going back to what I said, there really should be one of each stat, if possible. Like, if available, there should be a mirrors, veils, iron, and heart. You know, maybe I've already taken all the iron, but and like, I don't know, from what I've seen from other gameplays, it seems like not all the stats are readily available. And like, I mean, there really should be at least one facet with the booster. Anyway, along with some dear friends and acquaintances, you formed a tightly bound clique of free spirits. You unlock this by having affiliation Bohemia at 2 or more. Okay. Along with some... oh, I already read this. Finding the prevailing opinions of society stifling, you sought solace among more congenial company. What shared interests brought you together? Thirst for adventure. You're all captivated by the unlikely, the unwise, and the unnecessary. Why did they do it? People ask. Of your latest antics. The answer is simple. Because you could. Okay. Facets. Mirrors at 38. And we need 10 more. Yeah, okay. Check out these flowers. Here at the Apoidian Gardens, it's like an ugly mix of underwater sea worms and flowers. Very big flowers. The Flowerfields, your engine perches among the stalks, nestled between petals the size of gardens. Enormous flowers sprawl across the horizon, a welcoming forest. The petals are the color of mellow gold and vivid ruby. The scent of sticky pollen hangs in the air, asphodel and drowsy cardamom. Cardamom? We don't need to harvest nectar. And how many supplies will this take? Linger in the flower field. The flowers yawn open, petals in full bloom. Red gold and soft cerise. Cerise, all around. A stoker suggests a picnic. In Arcadia. You take your rest, balanced on a great leaf and shaded by a clump of tall flowers. Your crew raid the galley for a picnic. Stout and cheese, wine, and cold meat. Ew, cold meat. A blanket is smoothed out over the coarse leaf flesh. A stoker plays a fiddle. Another a harmonica. Oh, wait. Someone sings along to the tune. Old ballads of days long gone. You can spare your crew a little rest, at least until you have finished this novel. Oh, I want to read something nice so bad. Good thing we checked again. Take in the scent. Open a window and breathe in the fragrant air. A brief interlude. The air is thick with unspent pollen, drifting on the stellar winds. The breeze carries the drone of chorister bees somewhere far away, and a whiff of a rich spice scent, like cloves and roses. Your crew naturally complain of hay fever. You don't linger long, only enough to feel the sweet air in your lungs. And watch the dew roll like water down the bright petals. Lovely. Oh, I'm taking a big risk with all this honey. I gotta get back to lead beaters real quick. Is that one's open? Ask the phlegmatic researcher about his completed research. He left a note at the dock asking you to drop by. The phlegmatic research table is covered with thick grass and growing rapidly. His colleagues are celebrating vigorously, more so even than the last time. A scout is singing loudly, if tunelessly. Another is stomping through the room in some kind of dance. Witness the culmination of their efforts. The phlegmatic researcher smiles uneasily. He is delighted and unsettled by the exuberance of the celebrations. The Reach contains certain growth encouraging airs, which I acquired. Captains call it the Peacock Wind. I call it the Breath of God. The phlegmatic researcher strikes the table with his cane. And this is what we've accomplished. A fertilizer so potent, it'll grow whatever you seed into it. It costs a fortune to make, but it's still a tremendous step forward. He glances warily at the singing scout, whose voice is growing hoarse. I don't know what's gotten into them, although I suppose it is a remarkable discovery. One savage secret, one vision of the heavens. Another list, okay. Pen of a scribe spinster, ligaments of a guest, trader's wood mandrake, ice from old Tom's well. Okay. Please have some fuel and supplies. Okay. Great. We'll take a bunch of these. Nope. Can't take that much. Nope. Okay, here's the circuit. New Winchester, Port Prosper, Braddock Rock, Magdalens, Polmere, then back to New Winchester. What's this? Recent news, a war hero returned. A famous Tackety general has been sighted. New Winchester is feverish with speculation, particularly as the general died in the liberation of the port. Everyone has a story about the dead general. Intriguing sobriquets, like the Butcher, the Stalwart, the Vanquisher, the Bloody-Handed, circulate. The prudent secretary is eager for any info that can be found on the returned war criminal. The indolent veteran is desperate for confirmation the hero has returned. Investigate the rumors. A Tackety war hero returned from the dead? How intriguing. The dead move quickly. Some determined skulking nets you a little more concrete info. The general has been sighted at Magdalen's, where people have apparently been able to secure an audience in the solace chambers. The details vary. One excitable young gentleman swears blind. The general was grey of face, bleeding from his mortal wounds, but the salient fact is constant. Is it an attendant impersonating the general? Or is the general impersonating an attendant? Travel to Magdalen's to find this specter. Interesting. Oh, please let it be an experiment. Those are guests. Those are guests. Those are guests. Hey guys. Oh no, we're in a bad way. We are in a bad way. Oh, come on. Whew! The guest-riddled dreadnought defeated. The dreadnought rocks like an empty cradle. It has been colonized by the guests, a wormy, lonely species that craves the warmth of inhabited places. But one guest calls others. Soon, every inch of the engine was filled with slug-like worms, and the crew were crushed. Collect a sample of the guest's ligaments. The phlegmatic researcher in the Leadbeater and Stainrod Nature Reserve does not know what he has requested of you, but you'll see it done. In the ruins of the locomotive, you find two guests in a weakened state. You slice them apart and extract what you need before returning to your locomotive with your grisly bounty. That's gnarly. Please. Report. Lammas Fale. Okay, so if I remember correctly, this is the one where I get a whole bunch of literature I don't want. So I think I'll delve into the side stalls and boost my East Ender reputation. Who knows? Oh, tolerated. Wait a second. The West Enders close rank. The side streets are dotted with all manner of licentious activity. Foul fungal beer pilfered from Leadbeater and Stainrod's Nature Reserve. Wine spiced with stolen minutes that revivify the stomach along with the alcohol. Genuine rubbery lumps, every bit as horrible as memory can craft. There are games of darts, knives, chance, and pin the tail on the parliamentarian. You drink and gamble to excess, to general applause. Does that... can I have good reputation with both? Let me see this. Westward. Eastward. I guess so. Parsimonious chairman. Yeah, we will take this. 5 Windward Company gratitude. 10 Tackety nameplates for an unlicensed chart. We don't have any of those, so we will be taking this. He ushers you into a private study. Behind the hatch, concealed behind an oil portrait of Lord Nelson, rows of carefully rolled charts are stored. The chairman removes one. There. Now go. Do London proud. Okay, what else? Boom. Hey, let's talk to this guy. Ask why he sent for you. Before he answers, he knocks back the rum in a single gulp and asks and calls for his butler to fetch another. A proposal. There is a distant kingdom where the dead can be found. The industrialist's voice is hoarse with disuse. I need an enterprising sort, such as yourself, to visit it for me and retrieve someone. It should be a simple enough affair. In return, I will pay you a small fortune. Who does he want back from the dead? Some years ago, I lost someone dear to me, he says. A world without her. In it wait. A world without her in it is worthless, miserable. I need her back. The Bleak Industrialist has asked the impossible. He wants you to bring his lost love back from the kingdom of the dead. Try to extract a higher reward. Who only wants a small fortune? A simple matter. The industrialist doesn't blink. You will have whatever I can give you, but only if you succeed. He contemplates his glass for a while. London has an embassy there, a place called Sky Bonnet. I cultivated a contact among the diplomats who I hoped would help me, but he's proved useless. Maybe you'll get more value from him than I could. There is no further conversation. The industrialist sits back in his high-back chair and stares at the fire with empty hatred. Alright, man, I'll do my best. Alright, up we go. Shit, an uninvited guest. A commotion's in the cabins. A stoker has discovered a creature wrapped affectionately around his Toby jug, a gift from his aunt. The creature is as long as your arm and looks like a leech bred with an eel. It is one of the guests. The guests are drawn to glimmers of sentiment in the broad, hard skies. One attracts another, until they will fill a locomotive like the meat fills a sausage. By the time they move on, you will have all been mashed to paste. I'll fuck off. Shit. You can never be sure. You have guests aboard. No, thank you. Come on, I should be able to get rid of my guests. I should be able to get rid of them. Oh god. I've never actually suffered so much from guests. Could be interesting to see how I what happens to me. I don't want to die though. That would suck. Yikes. Oh god. Okay, I've never been this way. Well, that was random. First time seeing the peacock win. Which is weird because it usually shows up. Stop chasing me! Get away from me! Let's see about this wind. No, not the wind. Sorry, I meant rock. Oh. The War of Fossils. When settlers arrived in the Reach, miners flocked to this frozen rock, lured by the promise of hours stored in its core. An eruption of cantankerite has left it in its current mangled state. A makeshift graveyard stands at the lip of the rock, a memorial and a warning. Pay your respects or mine for unclaimed hours. Huh. I don't need hours, so I will pay my respects. Lanterns doused by the sleet mark the ramshackle graves. Relighting them would commemorate the dead, but might disturb any cantankerite that still slumber here. The wake of day. Once, every grave had a lantern. Now, most are lost or stolen. Your crew surfs through drifts of muddy sleet and beneath mangled mining wreckage to replace what they can. In the dim light, your stokers struggle with the tinder and oil. The cold is fierce and chills the fingers to the bone. Eventually, matches strike and a thin string of light washes over the graves, but you've lingered too long. The ground begins to quake, the cantankerite stir. Groaning cantankerite pour from the fissures of the rock, stunted and half-blinded and irritable from their long sleep. They thrash across the surface, crushing graves and battering the rusting equipment to fragments. Fight your way back to the engine. Stand firm. A ragged cheer. You make your stand amidst the wreckage. Beside you, your hardiest crew, following their captain into a squalling, writhing hell. It is done. Your arms hang heavy from the weight of your guns. The effluvia of cantankerite is spattered across your faces, and the graveyard of miners is churned with mud. You cry victory as the last of the cantankerite squirms back into its hole. Well, that was interesting, I guess. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh god, guess in the galley. Your engine continues to play host to a burgeoning population of uninvited guests. This morning, a writhing torrent of the creatures poured from the pantry and oozed quickly away into their hiding spaces. They had been at the better biscuits. Impose a curfew on the crew. This will not get rid of your guests, but might keep their numbers down. Construct a shrine to the Waste Wave. The Waste Wave is the shepherd of the winds, a lonely power of the sky's abandoned places. You've heard the guests revere it. This will remove your unwanted guests. Yes, please. We love the Waste Wave. 10 terror, yikes. Sunday sermons. You open a window to let the wind in and set out the appropriate tokens. A bowl containing a handful of crumbs, a ring never worn, an empty house. In this case, the doll's house an engineer was building for her child. In threes, the guests slither in. They approach the pitiful tokens. Beads of gelatinous moisture squeeze from ducts in their frontal parts of their flesh. Are those tears? Then they slither out through the window, contorting themselves into sleeping knots as they tumble away to await another locomotive. Yours has been sanctified. You are no longer plagued by guests, and the waif is uninterested in you. Well, why is that? We love you, waif. Thank you so much. Praise to the waif. Waif have mercy. Waif have mercy. Purchase an unlicensed chart. Yes, we will. Money is no question. Sick, we have 2. We need to treat our terror for the first time. We already did that. We already treated guilt, and we... How many savage secrets? 16. 11. We'll take this. Request a treatment for loneliness. The high wilderness is a savage, lonely place. He smiles the practiced smile of an old friend, offering comfort for their comrade's predictable misdeeds. That's my specialty. When I'm on duty in the chambers, he begins to hum the tune of a popular ballad, of a signaller falling from his locomotive unnoticed by his captain and drifting cold in the dark. This way, do keep up. Oh, this is how we find him? Okay. Oh, that's good. I wouldn't have... No. The attendant holds up a candle before 4 doors of mirrored glass. 4 of our staff. The famous dead Tackety General. See if the rumors are true. Is a deceased Tackety war hero really in attendance at Magdalen's? The dead walk among us and smoke pipes. The attendant smiles and licks his pale lips. You have morbid tastes. This way, if you please. You're led to a slim chamber of polished scarlet glass. A burly figure is sitting in a comfortable armchair. They smile up at you. The attendant, and they are just an attendant, bears a striking resemblance to the departed general, augmented with cosmetics. The jawline is uncanny. The general makes one crucial mistake. They lean forward to take your hand with their left. You know for a fact the war hero was right-handed. The general sighs, noticing your scrutiny. Ah, damn. This is a new role for me. Don't suppose I can ask you to keep mum? A lie can be more useful than the truth, especially where morale is concerned. It's better for Tackety morale to believe in the illusion? No! Expose the attendant. The Tackety General is dead. The world ought to know. This is just another of Magdalen's artifices. Humiliation. You publish in the Gazette. Will the host please see his attendants are living up to the potential? A general lament for falling standards. A more specific plea that Magdalen's does not debase itself with cheap tricks like a parlor clairvoyant. You complain at length about the laughable fakeries of their general. Everyone reads the Gazette. Magdalen's won't be offering the services of dead soldiers anytime soon. Okay, yeah, but I still need my terror-treated shit. Report. Speak to the host. Anything new? Nope. This time, let's really treat my terror. Yeah. Someone from my past. Terror fades. Your first sergeant is waiting in the shadows. He laughs like a bullhorn at your expression before reprimanding you for the laxity of your uniform. An explanation does no good. He is keen to tell you of his life after retirement and all of his many thoughts on your present circumstances. Away! The big top is filled, the audience chatters in anticipation. When the lights dim, and the ringmaster is drawn into the center ring on his horse-drawn Callio, singing of the night's delights, the applause is rapturous. Then come the acts. The magician appears suddenly from a puff of smoke, dazzling the crowd with his many amazing devices. The acrobatic twins swing from their trapeze, figures of a perfect symmetry as they go back and forth. The pensive clown is heralded by his comedic geese, Cuddles, and Ruffles, who march in their finery before him. They honk as he juggles them, and the audience collapses into laughter. The strong woman asks the crowd if they've brought anything for her to lift. They cheer as a group of 10 attendees struggle to wheel out a wagon full of crates and barrels. Not only does she lift them all in turn, she overturns the wagon single-handedly at the end to rapturous applause. Goodbye. Let's see. The Vacant Throne gave us Sky Stories. Devil's Confession, I believe, gave us a Sky Story. Bones in the Well gave us A Tale of Terror. And we would do good to have more of those. Corpse at the Window, being a sinister tale of familial duty and intimate horror. Amelia looked through the glass. Her sister had returned. In one hand, she held a necklace of muddy diamonds, dug from a Doyene's grave. From the other dangled the corpse of a doe. Around Catherine's stretched throat, Amelia could still see the rope marks, white and neat as a vicar's collar. I don't get it. We found the wreck of the Parzifal. Approaching the Parzifal. The engine drifts unhappily through the sky. Its hull has been split by an eruption of corpse-white fungus from inside. The name Parzifal can be made out in brass letters on its side. The first engine through the avid horizon. A navigator whispers, London's pride. She was captained by Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe, and her mission was to chart new horizons beyond Albion. But she never came back. Board the Parzifal. What happened to the first engine in the high wilderness? Its doors are sealed, its lights dim. It drifts in the currents, mangled by fungal extrusions. Bolt cutters and pry bars are required to break the outer door. Its lock mechanism is antiquated and slickened with an oily substance. You wrench the door open and are immediately greeted with a cloud of yellowing spores. Your vision blurs just as your captain torches them, igniting the air with burning fungus. A few gas lights flicker on the walls. The scratchy sounds of a gramophone can be heard. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. Spores drift through her broken carriages like dying fireflies. Recruitment posters bearing her renewed majesty's face molder on the walls. Music, scratchy but distinct, echoes through the empty carriages. A grey wall of pulsing fungus separates the back of the engine from the front. If you guys want to hear some nice gramophone music, you guys should check out Everything at the End of Time on YouTube. Spooky stuff. The guy who made the music, he wanted to create something. I think either him or he was inspired by the descent into dementia. Yeah, it's a good listen. Breach the fungus. Shivering spasms of festering fungus separate the front of the train from the rest. The only way forward is through. You organize your hardiest stokers into a rota, slowly but steadily widening the gap between the pallid walls of quivering fungal flesh. The smell is direful, as are the ominous bulges protruding from the mushroom bulk. Thanks to your capable direction, however, a wide path is cleared straight through the fungus, bisecting it like two lungs separated by the trachea. You pass through, unharmed. Who didst brood upon the chaos dark and rude, and bid its angry tumult cease, and give, for wild confusion, peace? Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in perils on the sea. The front of the engine is even more infected with sprouting mushrooms and sporing fungal growths. The engine room lies ahead, seemingly the source of the persistent movement. Before that, however, is a haze of spores rendering the corridor ahead entirely noxious. Traverse the sporing carriage. Fruiting sacs send clouds of vitriolic orange into the air. Passing through will be hazardous to the health. The engine room is just beyond. You go alone. Your crew disappear behind you, lost in a haze of orange and gold. Above, sacks of sporing fungus encrustled till the metalwork begin to erupt. Showers of spore and viscous liquids render the terrain still more hazardous. You feel a peculiar sensation. Your hands tingle, as though wishing to reach out, to touch the fungus, as though for one more drink. You increase your speed. At last, you leap over a final hissing sack of fungal eggs and find yourself before the engine room door. When Britain first, at heaven's command, arose from out the azure main, this was the charter of the land, and guardian angels sang this strain. Light and music spill from under the door, queasy and persistent. Enter the engine room. The thick steel door is scored with bullet holes and is held in place by tendrils of ropey white fungus. Oh crap, did I just... alright, sorry. That was my bad. Oh wait, what's this? We wish her neither wit nor wealth, nor yet a rope to hang herself with. Fa la 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 la. Spooky. Oh, okay, it goes to where I left. Oh, the engine room is cold as a sunless sky. Oh, game title. Your breath hangs in long chains before you. The boiler is off. The infernal gramophone sits atop the boiler. The music is no better for being closer to it. Before you lies a danse macabre of fungus and corpses, hand in frond, on the wall. Suspended by fungus is a body in a captain's uniform. Examine the engine room. What happened here? The corpses bear bullet wounds. They are unmarred by fungus, decaying in peace. Amongst the rank insignia, you spot a first officer, a chief engineer, and a conductor. All died. Violent deaths. There are far too few to amount to the full crew. The boiler, a battered, antiquated, wheezing contraption, stands silent and broken. Strips of iron hang in front of it as though it had suffered an explosion. Inside you find fungus amidst the ashes, clumps and clusters of tendrils that sprout from the charcoal. When burnt, the spores would have infected the whole engine. Examine the captain's corpse. Here lies all that remains of Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe. The corpse of the finest officer of his generation hangs from the wall, suspended by loops of pale fronds. His skin is sallow, and strands of golden fungus crawl beneath it. His eyes open. Percy Blythe looks down on you. Blue fruiting mushrooms speckle his beard. Next to him, the gramophone crackles out dreary anthems of years past. His mouth opens too wide as he speaks. His jaw cracks. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe lives. Suspended from chains of fungus, Percy Blythe begins to stir, improbably alive. He fixes his gold-flecked eyes upon you, as his mouth begins to move as though wanting to speak. Somehow, he is alive. He groans. His mouth opens impossibly wide, and a cloud of yellow spores emerge. I am all that's left. An oily liquid begins to drip from his left eye. I am a child of the grave garden. The voice alters, becoming more clipped, more static, like that of the voices of the gramophone. I am Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe, Captain of the Parzifal. My task was to explore the wilderness and return home with new discoveries. He groans as though he's weeping. I am all that remains. I want to go home. The lieutenant commander of the Parzifal has survived whatever befell his engine. He is the key to understanding whatever occurred here. What happened here? How did the Parzifal end up in this condition? We met the children on Hybris. We sought to know each other. Wanted to go to the wood. Wanted to see what was kept from us. Percy is drooling as he speaks. The gramophone clicks as yet another patriotic dirge begins to play. Percy Blythe struggles in his bonds, pulling himself up to stand a little straighter. We made contact on Hybris. The fungus was so bright, so beautiful. His eyes shine gold. I brought it aboard. God forgive me. I wanted the crew to see, to know. Oil leaks from those hollow eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Some came willing. Others refused to join us. We had to. He breaks off into silence, staring away into the middle distance. What happened to you? How can he still be alive? Percy Blythe launches into a long, meandering, slurred story of children and gardens, of a cruel king who needed but did not love his subjects despite their love for him, of knowledge denied and growth checked, of tyranny and freedom, of grief and betrayal and longing. The music bursts into sudden life. Percy jerks and fixes you with an infected eye. I was stupid. I thought we would be welcome here. And we were. We were welcomed. We were loved. The children, the verdants, they wanted us. He begins to sob. It is a sad, squelching sound. Keep your distance. You're not going near his noxious secretions. The oily burbling goes on for some time. The lieutenant commander becomes rapidly incoherent. Sometimes he weeps for mother, other times for London. He believes himself disgraced twice over. Eventually the embarrassing affair comes to a stop, as Percy Blythe is left blowing clouds of spores from his mouth, his eyes vacant. Here's a health unto her majesty with fa la 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 la, confusion to her enemies. So what does he want now? Can he even go home? Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe lets out a low moan and slumps forward. The chains of fungus adjust to accommodate this despair. Home. He slurs like a drunk man demanding another drink. On Hybris. Mother spored us there. She sent out her children across the stars to learn the traitor's ward. We were forbidden from entering there, but now its king is dead. But this craft failed before we could arrive. The body jerks as though shocked. Percy's face rises to face you. London, he rasps. London. Here come the grenadiers, my boys, who know no doubts or fears. Then sing tow, row, 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 the British Grenadiers. Can the Parzifal still fly? The answer is almost certainly no, but there is no harm in asking. No. The lieutenant commander hisses, his eyes rolling in his head. Sabotage. Mutiny. Ignorance. No fuel. The children too greedy. Spread too fast. Like fire. The engine is broken. The crew all gone. I am alone. His head lolls as though his neck were broken. Decide his fate. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe, decorated hero of London forces, first captain, through the avid horizon, gazes as you at you, slack-jawed and unseeing. "Please," he rasps, "take me home. Or finish this." He twitches. "We just wanted to know what was kept from us in Trader's Wood. Why did our king not love his children? On thee our hopes we fix. God save us all." "We're taking you back home, Commander." The remnant of Percy Blythe does not appear to register your response. His head bobs with the tilting of the engine. You cup his head gently to avoid plunging your hand through the soft, rotten flesh of his neck. The chains of fungus quiver as you set to freeing him. His hand reaches for yours, and his gold-flecked eyes meet yours. "An end. Please," he rasps. "London. I want. Remember as I was." Oh crap. Should we kill him and bring his corpse, or bring him home alive? Perhaps he might yet be saved. The light leaves his eyes and his head lolls back. He speaks not another word to you as you untangle him from the fraudulent chains that bind him, eventually, and after some deft work with a hacksaw, to free him from the spongy flesh at his back. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe is free. You guide him, clinging and ruined, through the sporing carriages and to the safety of your engine. Well, we have a spore-infected Percy Blythe aboard our ship, so we best make it to London ASAP. The crystalline. Force opened the doors to the hold. Frost has locked them, but a pry bar makes an effective key. A discovery. Tea. The Burrower's breath. Ochre fogs rise about your locomotive. The air acquires a caustic copper tang. Your driver complains they can't see a damn thing. The Burrower's breath, they murmur. The fog persists all day. That evening, a gnarled crewman visits your captain. The Burrower below is displeased, he informs you. She expects a sacrifice. If you wish it, he will arrange it. 3 crew? Well, they are expendable. The Burrower's price is the time remaining to 3 of your crew. Satisfied. The next morning, 3 of your crew awake to find marks daubed in coal dust on their foreheads. How curious. Over the next week, all 3 of them die, not from violence or murder, but to accidents, to illness, to misfortune, as if the threads of their lives had been cut short. The ochre fog sinks away and troubles you no more. What's this? The Tacketies Retreat. New Winchester reels from recent events. The more free-spirited citizens are keeping a low profile, while Company House, head office of the Windward Company, bristles with London flags. The Colonial Assembly, the closest thing that the Tacketies have to leadership, has fled the port. You piece together gossip from tea rooms and pubs. Ousted. The Tacketies are struggling. The Windward Company, whose dreadnoughts on loan from London prowl the Reach, have them outgunned. At Victory Hall, the indurate veteran regretfully argued that New Winchester was no longer a safe location for the Independence's nascent government. The Assembly voted in her favor, and its members evacuated the port in a chaotic exodus. In a chaotic exodus. If you have business with them, you'll need to travel to their new headquarters at Lustrum. Huh, the general again. I think we're ready for Albion. Yeah.